Hey, good morning. Bob Desmond here. It's Monday morning, June 15th. And yesterday I made a video where I cut this channel in here by hand with an X-Acto knife, number 11 blade, and some fine chisels. And I got it done to a certain point, and then I, skipped out, took the rest of the day off. Anyway, I wanted to show you where I am right now. You can see right here, there's a little bit of rosewood left, trying to make a straight line to come over and go into the heel. Same in the other side. There's a little bit left. Okay, and it has to be chiseled off and removed. And then the slot behind the heel in here where my thumbnail is, that has to be deepened to line up with all of that. Okay, so one of the reasons I'm making this video is mainly I've got to remove this wood here and this wood right here. And normally I would just take like a 1/4 of an inch chisel and come in from the side here and do it that way. However, I have noticed that because of this particular rosewood, it wants to chip in here, okay? So if I go at it with a chisel this way, I might break it, all right? And this is not always the case. It doesn't happen that often, but it does happen. Most of the time, if I'm using Indian rosewood or whatever, it's just a matter of going in here with a chisel and, chiseling it off. But here I can't. So what I have to do is, I'm not going to do this on camera because I have to move the camera out of my way and I really have to pay attention. But what I'm going to do is come in this way with the chisel, okay? And little by little, remove it with a sharp chisel. Now I just sharpened this chisel. I gave it a quick strop on my leather wheel. I have a leather wheel on my drill press that I put compound on, sharpening compound. I'm actually doing this right now. Just taking off a little tiny bit at a time because I'm afraid that if I take the chisel the other way, it will chip. If I come in this way, I am afraid that it will chip on me. So, it's a delicate process, but I'm trying to show you that the way I'm going to do this, and I'll do it right here a little bit as well. I'm going to just start by getting a feel for it. I'm going to rest my chisel tip on the good part of the route and kind of come in from the side a little bit, very gently, because I don't want to go too deep. And this is compounded by the fact that I can't see real well right now. Now, as you look at it from this angle, you can see that it's going uphill a little bit here. And in fact, I need to take it downhill a little bit. Going very slow. You can still see it's not looking really great. I'm actually using the camera to help me on this. Go back here a little bit. Trying to take off ever so slightly. And actually the camera is ending up being a good tool here. I can keep referring to it. The whole secret is just take your time. Now, that looks a little choppy, but I'm heading in the right direction here. And you can see that it goes up a little bit right at the end here. I'm gonna risk it. I'm not gonna worry about what's behind the heel cap right now. Just trying to get a straight line here. It's a little high in the middle. Now, the other thing is to come in with a small chisel here. That one's a little too big. What's going on right now is I'm trying to remove too much at one time. Come in the other way, see what happens. Got to be careful not to crunch the rosewood. A little bit of razor knife stuff here. And I'm walking around the tripod. And now I'm using my left hand as the dominant hand. I've got something that's hanging the chisel up here. And I think the other side is better. So it's really, there we go. Okay, I'm going to get some 120 grit paper here, and I'm going to back it up with a credit card. Put it in the slot here and just do a little bit of sanding. You can see the sandpaper. I'm going to flip it around, do a little bit. Now after I finish this and I'm happy, I will then start to cut the purfling lines into the guitar back, and I will start to route for the purflings. Okay, that's fine with the card. I'm going to switch to a scraper. I've got a very thin scraper blade here. And it's going to give me a little more stability. I have to be careful that I don't overdo this. I'm actually bending the scraper into a semicircle, making it convex as I rub the heel cap, or the heel, I should say. And essentially, I'm just getting rid of some of the junk down in there. And I'm also helping this line get better, smoothing it out a little bit. Okay, let me look through the camera. Okay, so I'm going to come over to this side here. I'm going to move my light a little bit. It's in my way. And let me see if I can get this 1/16 of an inch chisel in there. It's interesting, there's a clump of wood in here that I'm having a difficult time removing. There it goes. Now I'd rather be too deep in here than too shallow, because you can't see it. You can't see what I'm seeing up here, but I'm essentially cutting a little bit just to clean out the channel with this skinny chisel. Okay. This is looking a little bit better. It's still a little bit high, but you can see it's improved quite a bit. Now, at some point I'll take my plexiglass block here, and I see no reason not to do it right now. We'll take some 120 here, and I will put the block on the sandpaper and straighten that out. Let me see how that looks through the camera. It's going uphill a little bit at the end there, if you can see it. I'm going to take my, let's see here. Right here is the problem. I just got it. Looks better to me. Still up a little bit. Let's come in with a 1/4 inch chisel. Now the sharpener that I use on my chisels is a Tormex. And I must admit, I get pretty lazy with sharpening. But when I get to the point at which it's not making it, I will pull out the Tormek and start to sharpen everything. And that could take a couple of days. That looks a little bit better. Using a 1/4 inch chisel, and I'm using a 1/16 chisel, and I'm using one even a little bit thinner than a 1/16, this guy right here. That looks a little bit better. So you can see what's going on. Bring a little bit of light in there. And it's interesting to use the camera as a viewing tool. I can actually see better using the camera. I'm going lefty here. Now, you could cut this out with a router, but you'd have to have a slightly curved fence to help you trace the router or guide the router. You'd have to have a small bit too. You could certainly use a router here, but it's just something I prefer to do by hand. And I have a little bit of rosewood here, which is just being difficult. So I'm not going to lose my cool on it. Just going to patiently working around the tripod legs. But that has to come out. If I don't get it out, I won't get a smooth fit with the bindings. I'm sure this is boring to watch, but I think you get the idea what I'm trying to accomplish here. Usually it's quite easy to do this, but I've got this stubborn little chunk of rosewood which is being a pain. I'm going to scrape it a bit. Maybe that'll help it. Feels like a rock. I think I might be through it now. So let's put a bit of light on that. And it's not looking too bad. Just wanted to show you this angle versus up top. It's definitely looking better. I've got some sanding to do. You can see that's looking pretty good. This is 120 sandpaper. Just smoothing that out there with the plexiglass block. I'm going to flip the sandpaper over because the other side is 150. See how that looks? Quite a bit better. It's pretty straight. So what I'm going to do is end this video in a second here. What I have left to do is just to widen the slot a bit. Come on, flashlight. Okay, this one might be a little high still. But it's pretty close. Sometimes you don't want to push your luck. Let's see what happens here. Yeah, that one's not going to quite fit. So we're at almost 25 minutes here on the video, and I think that's too long. I'm going to continue to work with this until I'm happy. Using the chisel as a scraper. Let's see how that's looking. Not too bad. So, I just wanted to show you that step. The bindings have to be on a nice straight line as they go behind the heel cap on both sides. And if I suspect it's going uphill a little bit, if I get a little gap there, that looks pretty good right there. Just for the fun of it, let me try the other one. Now I have to widen the slot a little bit, and that'll be done with sanding. Let's see how this one goes. That looks, let me look in the camera. The light is not good here, but that looks pretty good to me. So I'm going to call this video done. All I'm going to do from this point is take the scraper and the 120 sandpaper right here. This combination, I'm going to widen this slot a bit. Like so. You can see what I'm doing here. You can see all the sawdust. And then I'll flip it around before I even clean it. And I'll continue to widen that a tiny bit. And you might say, well, how much will you widen it? A little bit less than the thickness of the binding. I've got 120 now, but I will go to 150 as well. This chisel I'm using is only about 1 millimeter. Let me measure it. Yeah, it's 1 millimeter. This is 1 millimeter wide chisel, the thinnest one I have. So I'm going to pop the camera off here, off the tripod. So bear with me. And I'm going to move the tripod out of my way, just to show you what I'm seeing. This is what the top looks like. Okay. Now this is a stacked heel cap, or heel, excuse me. I don't normally do stacked heels, but since I was selling my wood pile, I decided to use some scrap blocks to make the heel. And this particular one has a darker piece of mahogany at this level. I'm not sure I like it, but it is what it is. The other one is different. The other one are all the same color. So you have an idea what this looks like. Looks like I needed a little more sanding here. I have a little bit of a thing right here. But this is what it's about. This is little by little getting it to where I'm happy, and then I'll start cutting for the purfling, cutting the line and routing for the purfling, bending the purflings, fitting the purflings, etc. Okay? And here it is. These are the tools that I'm using. Primarily the brown-handled 1mm chisel. Then I have one here which is about a 1/16 of an inch. I've ground it down. It's not going to focus, of course. I've got a 3/8 and a 1/4 inch Marpol's chisel there. And I got a cherry, 2 cherries or whatever it's called, right here. It's a little bit wider than a 1/16. And very thin scraper, it bends very easily. It's very, very flexible. And it's my backer. The cutting edge is up here. So I put the sandpaper against the non-cutting edge. Try to do it with one hand. Oops, should have left alone. Okay, that's it. So I'm happy with the bindings, the depth of the cut and all that. The bindings fit great now. I'm just working this area, and then I'll move on to the purflings. Okay, hope you all have a great afternoon. It's the 15th of June, Monday. Bob out.